I've really always, right from the beginning, my main interest in design, to be honest, has been how design might evolve in order to kind of tackle the problems that I thought were most important to tackle. And right from the very beginning, I was interested in the role of design in social impact. I was interested in the role of design in solving problems that design maybe hadn't been asked to solve before. I trained as a physical product designer, and realized that was just a very limited part of the problem, an important part of the problem, but a limited part of the problem. And as I started to embrace other forms of design, interaction design, got much deeper into design research and human-centered design. I mean, I started to realize that design itself was a systems issue, right? That we were often being asked as a designer to integrate many different aspects of a product, and that was interesting to me. Started working on interdisciplinary teams, working on strategy projects, on the sort of projects that were trying to project into the future of computing and mobility, working with companies like Microsoft and Apple and many of the big Japanese companies, Sony and others, and had the great privilege to explore technology in all sorts of interesting ways. I found myself, after running a couple of our offices, taking over the company in 2000, just as the dot-com crash happened. But it did put into question many of our sort of areas of focus at IDEO, and we stepped back over the next few years and tried to understand how we could be most helpful as designers. And that's when we started to talk about this idea of design thinking, that design is a set of mindsets and tools that can be applied to many kinds of problems. And that took us on the journey towards engaging with services, beyond products, strategy, and really getting to a point where today we're working on all kinds of systems problems. And there's quite a journey to go when you think about design, going from single things to systems, because you deal with systems differently to single things. And I think business has the same problem. Business has the same challenge. Businesses often thinks about single products, or maybe collections of products or collections of services. And we're not always as good at thinking about the interrelationships in a systemic sense. And we certainly haven't been very good at thinking about that when it comes to the externalities in those same systems. And that's really what got me interested in circular economy. So I believe that the only way for us to approach systems, whether it be healthcare, education, circular economy, can only be done through collaboration. And there are different kinds of collaboration. And at IDEO, we've been experimenting with several of them for quite some time. I mean, firstly, when we talk about collaboration, a lot of what we talk about in the world is really conversation, right? We convene people in order to talk about a problem, and that's fine. That's not unimportant. But what we're interested in as designers is moving from conversation to action, right? How do we actually make new things, contribute to these systems in new ways? And so we're looking for different forms of convening, different forms of collaboration. I would say the two that we have found most effective so far, and we've actually brought them together in some cases. One is the form of collaboration which is generally called open innovation, which is going out to the world to invite as many people as possible to contribute solutions, to mix them up, to learn from them, and then try and support them as they go forward. The second form of collaboration, which we also think is very effective, is upstream collaboration between corporations. Looking at pre-competitive collaboration around issues that ultimately might be ones of competition in the marketplace, but today are too early. They need exploration, and there's a lot of benefit from corporations learning from each other. So we have a team or an approach which we call CoLab, which is collaborative laboratory, if you want to. And this is about bringing organizations together. We've run collabs around the circular economy for quite some time now, where we're bringing, for instance, companies in the fashion and textile sector together to look at alternative ways of thinking about the clothing industry in the future. And we've similarly around food, we've brought companies from across the food sector to look at circular approaches to the food industry. And that is based on the idea of bringing individuals out of these organizations, putting them in teams, often with great graduate students from the world's best academic institutions, and then building prototypes very quickly. So to do very early stage upstream prototyping of new solutions.